Today on Light of the Word with Pastor Ray.
You're giving me 24 hours, a new day in which is promised your mercies are new every day. Great is your mercy and your compassions fail me not every day. And so, Lord, what can I do today to please the Father? You sit there and you do that before you leave for your day. I will promise you this. You sit long enough, God will tell you. And sometimes it's going to be something as simple as, in everything that you do it all for my glory today.
Open your heart to us, Lord, so we can know your word. We come before you, Jesus. Speak to our hearts as we discover your love for us. How wide, how deep, how far. Pour into us so we can learn to follow. One surrender at a time. You have made the way for us to know you, a path that's straight and right. By the light of the word.
We live in a world where people are flawed. We lie, we hurt one another with our words, and many times we fail each other. But isn't it amazing to know that the God of the universe is not flawed like we are? He does not lie, He is faithful, and His promises endure forever. That's why in today's message, Pastor Ray wants you to know that when you place your faith in Jesus Christ, you can trust Him completely. God will always remain faithful to His word, and because of that, you can live every day for Him. Well, let's join Pastor Ray in the book of Genesis chapter 45 for today's edition of Light of the Word.
We're in Genesis 45. God bless you, students of the Word, to come out. Joseph gives us this picture, and every week I almost want to do a deep dive on it, where he's 25% of the book of beginnings, Genesis. God did that for a reason. And, I don't know what you might be going through today, for the last decade, for the last year. But Joseph shows us that even in the hardest of things, we know that all things work together for good for those who love God, to those called according to His purpose. And we'll read in Genesis 50 here in a few weeks. But as for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good in order to bring it about as it is this day, to save many people alive. And though there may be sin involved, God can still work through even sin, as we see here, to do His purpose and His will. And it's an amazing passage that we have before us. Joseph is a picture of Jesus Christ and His forgiveness for you and I. But I think there also comes a time where we get to be like Christ. And I've said it often, you'll never be more like Jesus Christ, ever, than when you say, Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. Forgiveness, it's the heart of God. It's very lacking in Christendom, period. And Joseph takes us back. So Genesis 45, wow, we're getting there. Verse 1, then Joseph. So again, I guess I should have, they've been through their final test. They've come back, and Joseph did the old cup trick in the sack of their bags, and it was whoever we find this cup will die and everyone else can go. But in the end, it was the setup, and it was found in Benjamin's sack. Yet every last one of the boys, the brothers, could have left, but none of them did. They all returned and they all stood. And here what we see is what God was doing was forging a nation. He has united the nation. They will not be divided. And even 4,000 years later, we're watching Israel still stand, even in the midst of all that's put against them. And it's amazing. No nation has ever lasted this far, ever, in the history of mankind. And we get to read it in the newspaper. But we're really reading it in its inception in the beginning, yeah, it's Abraham, Isaac, the forefathers, but here it's Jacob, but it's these boys of what they did, and yet they stand together. And so now here they are. All that is past. Verse 33 of Genesis 44 read, "Now therefore, please let your servant remain instead of the lad as a slave to my Lord, and let the lad go up with his brothers. For how shall I go up to my father if the lad is not with me? Least perhaps I see the evil that would come upon my father. It would kill my father," is what Judah is saying. Verse 1 of Genesis 45, "Then Joseph could not restrain himself before all those who stood by him. And he cried out, 'Make everyone go out from me.' So no one stood with him while Joseph made himself known to his brothers." Joseph has reached the point, and I call it the beauty of reconciliation. We read in John 15 of the prodigal, and when he comes home and his father sees him afar off, the father lifts up his skirt. It was not anything that a man of honor would do, lift his skirt, his robe, and show his legs as he would run to the returning wayward son. But it's a picture of what the Lord does for us as he runs to us when we come back from our failings, our failings, and all these type of things. Well, here's the picture of Joseph in the sense his heart is running to these boys now, and he can't contain himself. He just can't go on any longer with this, testing the heart and see where they're at. Have they really changed in these 22 years since they sold him into slavery? And where are their hearts at? And we're watching like, boy, your heart has changed for Rachel's sons. That's me and my brother Benjamin. Boy, your heart has changed for our father, that you couldn't bear to grieve and hurt his heart anymore. And so here Joseph comes. It's just this beauty of reconciliation. I can't take it anymore. I got to run to you. We're going to start reconciling right here and right now. I just put it out there. Is there anybody you need to reconcile with? Oh, the beauty of reconciliation when we run to that place. Look, you've been wanting to reconcile, and no one, even though what you've done to me, you don't deserve it, but to be like the Father, I'm running to you, and I'm going to bring this reconciliation. And verse 2 goes on, "And he wept aloud, and the Egyptians in the house of Pharaoh heard it." And here's Joseph. We're going to read weeping here again, but I call it the invitation of tears. There's just a brokenness that comes with the tears that flow as we look at this. And the tears reflected, my heart's open to you. When they're going to be stunned for a while, but they have to look at, why is he crying? And then as he starts to speak, the tears are going to speak in the midst of the word. But the first point of tears comes with Joseph is just this invitation into an intimacy with the beauty of reconciliation. And as I pondered this, and as we ponder this, there's just something to me. And I just go, how did Joseph do it? How did he come and have such a heart to forgive, such a heart for reconciliation, such a heart to invite them back? Look at the vulnerability he's making himself. Look, and may we be realistic, you can never love to a degree greater than you're willing to be made vulnerable. If you're going to put a wall up, if you're going to put a bridge, if you're going to build a moat, and you're going to put a castle that surrounds your heart, that's as deep as you'll be able to love. But when you put down that bridge and cross over and come into that presence of reconciliation with that person, that's the depths of love that you can go to, the degree that you're willing to be made vulnerable of, you know what, they could hurt me again. But I'm going to be like you right now, Lord. I'm going to forgive them. I'm going to receive them. And if they hurt my heart again, I'm going to trust you, Lord, that you'll heal my heart and you'll touch my heart. But if we stay walled up, there will never be a depths of love. And there will be no springing of love. Jesus himself will say, what is it that, you love those who love you? Even everyone does that. The world does that. But when you love the unlovable and those who don't love you. Man, that's the love of God that's showing forth here. But as I just ponder that, I go, how did you do this, Joseph? Because you had no scripture, you had no church, you had no biblical counselors, you had no friend that stood with you through any of this. And then, of course, that says it all, because the Lord stood with him. And then I look and I say to me, I don't think I wake up every morning filled and ready to be like a Joseph. But what's amazing for us? We get to sit down in the quietness of our American homes. We get to open up this Word of God, and we get to have a piece of paper and a pen in our hand and say, I'm going to read this Word till I hear from you. I'm going to get to sit here, and I'm going to start with, I'm just going to praise you. Praise is who he is. Thanksgiving is what you've done for me. And it's a beautiful tie-in when I go, I praise you because you're love. I praise you because you are always never leaving, never deserting me. And I praise you because you are the great I am, the becoming one. And I thank you because of the life you gave me. I thank you because you came and you died for me. I thank you because you're sitting with me right now. Then we get the word to worship, and then we get to actually put in headphones or turn on whatever your means are and just sit there for whatever that is, 5 minutes, 50 minutes, and just sit there and let the worship flow over. I don't know how he did it, but all I know is what a treasure. Lord, I thank you. And there's one thing that is non-negotiable for me, and that's that morning to just sit with him and wait upon him and let him love over me. And the key word there is waiting, where I just sit and wait, because as you worship and giving thanks, you're reading the word, it's going to start flowing into this beautiful intimacy that will actually start talking to you. This is my love for you. Oh, beautiful. Joseph's amazing. And Joseph, if you can be amazing with all that you went through and all that you didn't have at your disposal, then we too can be greatly amazing because all this that we have. Well, verse 3, beautiful word again. A lot of this, really, it's a narrative. You just read through it. I don't really feel that I'm teaching when I go through something like this. What am I going to teach you, right? What are we going to learn? It's Egypt, it's slavery, it's history book, but then it's not a teaching, but it's just this devotion, the heart and warmth of God as we start looking at Joseph and seeing these things. In verse 3, my heart just warms again as I look at verse 3 that says, then Joseph said to his brothers, I am Joseph. Whoo, bricks, boom. Does my father still live? He's about 130. Jacob would be about 130 years old when you do all the math right now. But his brothers could not answer him, for they were dismayed in his presence. They are speechless. You know what I'd be thinking? If I'm the brothers, I'm sitting there. We just had a merry time. We packed up, here we are. All these things that are playing out. And then I would be sitting there, and when you said, I am Joseph, I'd have a flash of a pit of you crying up to me, as we read in the prior chapter, that they threw him in and had no mercy for him. He's crying, and what did we read? They went and they ate lunch, didn't even faze them. And now here they are. I am Joseph. They're stunned. They can't speak. They'd be thinking of the pit. And then I would be thinking immediately, my next thing is, what methods of torture has Egypt come up with in the last 22 years? Because surely I am doomed to this torture of reaping what I've just sown and these type of things. And now if you're Benjamin, you're sitting here going, wait, what? You guys said he was eaten by wild beasts. And now Benjamin's hearing this for the first time himself. But the amazing thing Joseph's running the reconciliation. He's weeping with tears. So the tears start immediately breaking them down of these are tears of just compassion and love. We don't weep tears in anger. There's this, the tears come from something's breaking inside the heart. And then what does he say? Of all these things, does my father still live? Again, what a picture, Joseph, a picture of Jesus Christ, are greater than Joseph. Jesus Christ would say, he's always thinking of the Father. Joseph, for 22 years, has been thinking of the Father. John 8:29, and when I read these, I want you to think about this, just hitting some short points along the way as we read through this narrative of, you want a great prayer prompters? You want some great prayer points? Write this down and pray this every morning. John 8:29, and he who sent me is with me. The Father has not left me alone, for I always do the things that please the Father. Father, what can I do today to please you? You're giving me a clean slate of 24 hours. I might sleep for 8 of them. I might sleep for only 4 of them. You're giving me 24 hours, a new day in which is promised your mercies are new every day. Great is your mercy and your compassions. Fail me not every day. And so, Lord, what can I do today to please the Father? You sit there and you do that before you leave for your day. I will promise you this. You sit long enough, God will tell you. And sometimes it's going to be something as simple as, in everything that you do it all for my glory today. I get it. We go into the workplace, and I'm not going to grumble. I'm not going to gossip. I'm not going to slander. I'm going to praise you in front of my coworkers. I'm going to say, God is good, and all these type of things. Oh, Lord, what can I do to please you? Love your spouse. What am I going to do? Lord, what can I do to please you? Just sit and spend this time with me. John 5:19, then Jesus answered and said to them, most assuredly I say to you, the Son can do nothing of himself, but what he sees the Father do. For whatever he does, the Son also does in like manner. What's awesome about this verse? Because be Thomas, show us the Father and it will suffice. And Jesus would say, he who has seen the Father has seen me. He's talking the mystery of the Trinity, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. But you know what? He's also talking to us. If you want to know the heart of God, if you want to know the heart of the Father, all I got to do is go to the Gospels and say, how did you handle this when you were reviled? Lord, how did you handle this when you were disrespected? Lord, how did you handle this when you were drawn and people came and loved upon you? Lord, how did you handle the woman who just lost her son? Lord, how did you handle the brothers or the 2 sisters who just lost their brother? And then all of a sudden we look at Jesus and we know how the Father's heart is. And Jesus is saying to us, everything I do, this is what I've seen the Father. So somehow in heaven, the heart of the Father is responding in the heavenly realm as we see how Jesus responded in the earthly realm. And I'll tell you what, anyone here today, have you lost a loved one and your heart's breaking? Maybe you've lost the love of your life and it wasn't through the loss of life. Maybe there's a child that's gone wayward. All the ways that we've seen Jesus, and we opened up with John 15, the Father running to the prodigal, coming home, and we go, this is how the Father's behaving, or, what's unfolding in heaven, the heart of the Father. He's not just sitting there stoic on a throne. There is an emotion in heaven that is pouring out there at the throne of God as the Father is, and Jesus showed us what the heart of the Father is. And then for us, it's easy. And I just take this great rest. John 15:5, I am the vine, you are the branches. He who abides in me and I in him bears much fruit. For without me, you can do nothing. Kind of goes back to what we had just been talking about, in that I don't have to I don't have to grunt it up. I don't have to whip it up. I don't have to, charismania it up. All I have to do is just simply be attached to the vine. Lord, I'm going to spend this time with you, praising and thanksgiving and confessing. How can I please you? And just by the natural connection of fruit with branches, the fruit's going to grow and the fruit's going to become harvestable. And so we don't have to wrestle with that. And as I said, pray for me going to Nepal. I'll just be honest with you, the group that we have here, we all know each other, and I'm just me. And there's a continual part of me going, why me? I'm going to go meet with 100 pastors, and I'm going to sit with 100 pastors. And I sit there and go, why would you send me to go minister to these men? And it was even this morning, I'm sitting like, I'm 2 weeks away. I'm literally on site in 2 weeks. And I just felt a confidence and blessing of the Lord. All that you need to do is be attached to me and go and lead them into my presence. Take them to the throne of grace, and then you will give them everything that they need. I go, I can do that. Can I go and be like some of the radio guys that you listen to and, just amazing, minds of how they can weave all the scriptures and all those things? And the Lord's like, that's not what I'm asking you to do. You just go, be attached to me, and take them into my throne and tell them. It's that simple. Whether it's pastors or anybody else who follows the Lord, it's just that simple. Just stay attached to the vine. How can I please you, Father? And then sit and wait in his presence, and he will take care of the rest for us. Well, verse 4 and 5, the insider information here. And Joseph said to his brothers, please come near to me. So they came near. Then he said, I am Joseph, your brother. Second time, okay. I think that's what you said, because if you said that to the first time, I'd be hearing, mind you, he just shocked them, because all the while leading up to this, he was speaking to them through an interpreter. Now there he is, boom, I'm speaking in Hebrew. And so they might have just heard, I am Joseph, and they didn't hear anything else, or they didn't hear I am Joseph, they heard brother, and they're like, so he's repeating it, making it clear, but here's the insider information, because they can sit there and go, is this really Joseph? I mean, I'm looking at you. You're dressed in this Egyptian garb. You don't look anything like the Joseph that I know. It's 22 years later. You got the whole shaved head, the Yul Brynner look going on there, the mascara, the clean robe, anything but a Hebrew robe and these type of things. And then you said, your brother. And I'm going, And then he says, whom you sold into Egypt. There's only 10 people in that room, 11, counting Joseph. Benjamin doesn't know this. There's only 10 people in that room who knew that information. Jacob doesn't know it. We know, because he's going to say at the end of this chapter, wait, what? Joseph's alive? Pack up, I'm going. I don't think they ever told their wives. They surely never told anyone else. This is just between them 10 that they've done this, and Joseph is given insider information that they have to go. Everyone else in the world thinks he was eaten and destroyed by a wild beast. There's only 10 people in the world who knew that he was sold into Egypt. And by that piece of information, they all have to go. There's nothing more to ponder. This is Joseph, our brother.
You have made the way for us to know you, a path that's straight and right. By the light of the world.
Today's edition of Light Up the Word has been in Genesis. Have you noticed the recurring themes mentioned in this opening book of the Bible? Pastor Ray's walking us through each situation and event, but what about the fact that it often seems like there are two brothers who are at odds? One is looked on favorably by God, and the other doesn't feel like he has God's blessing, so he takes matters into his own hands. This occurs with Cain and Abel, Jacob and Esau, Joseph and his brothers. There's something about the sin nature that seeks to gain acclaim one way or another. But if it's not what God has in mind, it leads to all kinds of heartache and destruction. So what's the lesson that we could learn from these stories that seem to repeat? God has His ways and reasons for doing what He does. But we could rest in the fact that perhaps what God's communicating is that it's not the firstborn lineage that matters, but it's that spiritual birth that comes later, through knowing Him, that really matters. That is what God can bless, and He desires to see your heart for Him grow and flourish. If that concept causes you to pause and think for a little bit, that's okay. While you're doing that, head over to lightoftheword.info. There you'll find lots of resources. This has been Light of the Word, illuminating the heart of God.
You have made